What is up, everyone? I want to get a technical issue out of the way. This podcast from January 7th, 2025 was supposed to be broadcasted on YouTube 24 hours after the podcast was streamed on Facebook. This did not happen due to some technical issue, including a copyright limitation that has been cleared up, as you are now seeing this on YouTube. The January 14th, 2025 podcast was pretty good. This one's also really good. After this one, the January 14th, 2025 podcast will be premiering at 7 p.m. Eastern today. I just want to get this out of the way. Anyways, now that we got the technical issues out of the way, back to David and them in the studio from last week, and then stay tuned. This week's premiere will start shortly around 7 p.m.
In its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that it'll be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's 7 o'clock, time for On the Spot with David Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the year 2025, and welcome again back to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your creator and host, David Rodgers. Mr. Byron Bagwell will be joining us here in just a few minutes, and back at the helm, as he always is, directing and producing the show is the dancing destroyer himself, Super Dave Holland. Glad to be back with you after a holiday hiatus, let's call it. We're back in the saddle again, as we would say. Got a lot of things to talk about on this show today. I want to get your input on several things as we've come to a new year from us, from the OTS family, to include Mitchell Gunner from OTS Motorsports media page. I want to wish everybody, well, first of all, I hope you had a great holiday, a great Christmas, and a great New Year. And I want to welcome you into another fine year as 2025 rolls through. So again, welcome in On the Spot with David Rodgers. And thank you for joining us again. Like I said, we have a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things that could have some possible changes in the way we do our show, and I'll explain that to you just a little bit later as Byron comes in, and Dave is going to chime in too as well. But let's get the show started as we always do with our prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the night. Everybody at home, please bow your head as we go into prayer. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once thank again for a wonderful and glorious day you've given us, dear Lord. Thank you for this time that we have together as we're able to do another show in another year, and that you just keep blessing us, dear Lord, with our show and our families and the things that we do in our daily lives. Thank you for just being our God and like I said, just blessing and touching each and every one of us each and every day. Thank you for letting us live in the greatest country in the world today, dear Lord, the United States of America. As we all know, it's the most powerful and most freest nation in the country in the world today. And with the new leadership of President Donald Trump and his staff, that this country, as he says, is great again. And with your guiding hand and your touch, we will be able to accomplish those things. Thank you for the military that we have, dear Lord. Our military, the greatest fighting force in the world, dear Lord. Each and every one of those men and women that go out there and risk their lives each and every day for this great nation. So we're able to keep free and to be able to do the things that we do each and every day, like go to work and be with our families and the vacations and just the things that we do that some people think that we take for granted, and sometimes we do, dear Lord, but that you just keep those men and women with a hedge of protection around them as they're serving not only here but abroad, dear Lord, and that you return them home safely to their families each and every day. Thank you for our working force, dear Lord. Everybody that's in our working force, starting from the farmers to the truck drivers, to the rail workers, to the steel workers, anybody that works within these United States, that you keep blessing each and every one of them, because that's what makes America grow, dear Lord, is those people, the each and everyday common American worker, dear Lord, and that you just keep blessing and enriching us with your presence and your touch. Thank you for our first responders, each and every one of those men and women that go out each and every day in our communities and in our state and in our nation, and that you just keep blessing them, dear Lord, and let them keep doing their job as they need to do, and bring them back safely to their families, so we're able to rest at night, dear Lord, and knowing that we can just call somebody and they'll be there to help us. Thank you for the food that we receive each and every day, as goes the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to thy service. Any spoken or unspoken prayer requests, dear Lord, touch each and every one of them. You know their needs. You know where their hearts are. Lay your guiding and healing hand on them, dear Lord. Thank you again just for this wonderful day, this wonderful night, dear Lord. Thank you for the rest of the week that you're going to give us, and the weekend that is upcoming. We ask for these things in your Son's name, Jesus Christ, and the congregation says,
Amen.
Amen. All right, Dave, let's do our pledge here as we normally do. And since we're back, I'm going to let you start it. Will that be okay?
I'd be honored.
All righty, let's do it.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, amen. I'm going to let Byron come in. When Byron comes in, Dave, we're going to go ahead and let him do the patriotic quotes of the night, which I'm sure he's got one or two, and we can come back to that for sure. So, again, welcome into On the Spot with David Rodgers. I'm your host and creator, David Rodgers, right along with Mr. Dave Holland. Right now, at this point, directing and producing the show, Mr. Byron Bagwell will be joining us here in just a few minutes. Dave, I want to start off the show here as we went through our holiday season, and I think we maybe did one, maybe two shows between Thanksgiving and the first of the year here, which it is January 7th, 2025. Can you believe we're already 7 days into 2025? That's crazy, isn't it? I mean, you know, my dad told me after I turned 25 that the years and the days just click and click and click, and then you don't ever know where they go. So I want to start off by saying this. If you're a dad, a mom, a sister, a brother, friend, or whatever, make sure that you don't let time slip by you, because you just never know when. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not guaranteed the next sentence that we speak. And make sure you spend time with your family, your friends, your loved ones. You know, we all got busy schedules. We all got busy lives. We all do things that, you know, we need to do to be able to survive in this world today. But make sure you take time and be with your family, be with your friends, hang out with your friends, because there's going to be a time where that friend or that family member or whoever is not going to be there, and you're going to go back and wish that you would have done this or said that or done this or done that. So make sure you tell everybody that's very important to you that you love them each and every day, because you may not have that chance again. I know this sounds sort of sentimental and a little bit, what do I want to call it, a little bit sad, if you want to call it that, but I want to call it sentimental. It sounds sentimental, but it's really the truth. And I just want everybody for this year, and that's one of my New Year's resolutions, which I want to get to yours, but I want to ask you what you did over the holidays, and I want to ask people, our audience, what their New Year's resolution is, and I'd like to read those out. But one of my New Year's resolution is two things, David, mainly for me. Well, three. Let me start with that. First and foremost, I want to lose some weight. I want to get back into shape. I want to get back. I've said that several years ago on this show, and I really haven't done it. I want to get myself back. I'm fixing to be 63 in April, and I know you can attest to the age there. But I want to get myself back into shape, get back into the gym, or at least do some things around the house to get myself back in shape, was the one. Number two, I want to slack back on my smoking. I do. I know, Dave, I'll commend you. 3 years now without smoking? or 2 years without smoking? Or has it been longer than that? 5 years. I can't believe it's been 5. Has it been 5?
Or more.
Or more. That you have not hit a cigarette or a vape or anything like that. So I want to congratulate you on that. That's a milestone that I think you ought to be very proud of. And I know you feel better. You breathe better. I guarantee you that you feel a lot better doing that.
We had our studio over in the sheriff's office, and we'd go out back and smoke a cigarette.
Sure we would.
And we did that for a year or so.
Yep.
And then I quit.
Then you quit.
It's been that long.
Yep.
We've been on the air 8 years, and that's probably about 5 years ago.
5 years ago. So, yeah, and you're exactly right, and I commend you for that. I think that was was that one of your New Year's resolutions 5-6 years ago, whenever that was? I think we talked about that.
It wasn't a resolution for New Year. It was a resolution for life.
Yeah, and that's great. And like I said, I know you feel better, and I want to do that too. And the third thing that I want to do is I want to back off, and I know I don't want to say, don't get me wrong, the show's going to keep going on, trivia's going to keep going on, tornado football is going to keep going on, but I'm going to back off some of the things that I used to do, like busy every day, and just not having time to get stuff done or coming home real late at night. I actually liked here these last several months of 2024 when I was coming home and there was days that I could go, man, I don't want to do nothing. You know what I mean? I want to sit here and watch TV, eat, talk to Shelly, talk to Autumn, pet Lily Bell, whatever the case may be, and I really like that. And I'm going to start taking some time for myself and enjoying with my family and friends, and not always be on the go. I understand it takes people to make things happen, but as I get up there in age now, I want to let some of the younger generation handle some of these events. I'm going to still be involved in some things, and I'll be talking about one of the things I'll be involved in here coming up here in just a few minutes. But I want to personally just enjoy time and enjoy life, because again, as I said, you're not guaranteed tomorrow, and you need to cherish all the friendships, all the family, all the people that you need to cherish the time, and just words, even if it's, you can make somebody's day by saying just hello. Hello, how you doing? That's maybe all that person needed to hear. Or, pick up the phone and go, hey, how you doing today? Or send them a message, text message, whatever it may be. And it'll probably make their day. Somebody may be in the dumps. Somebody may have it worse than you have it, and they're in the dumps. And just that little hello, David, how many times that happened? I know you've said hello to somebody, and they go, you know what, Dave Holland? Boy, you sure made my day. I was thinking about you the other day, and I tell you, I was having a bad day today, and guess what? Just that little hello really, really helps. So that's my New Year's resolutions. I over the holidays, didn't really do much. On Thanksgiving, we went up there and visited Kristen and Craig and the grandbabies. Me, Autumn, and Shelly went up there. They went up there for about a week. I went up there for about a half a week. We enjoyed Thanksgiving up there. And then we came home. Of course, we had to work a few more weeks there. And then around Christmas time, we just really basically stayed at home and, just did some things around the house. They were supposed to come down for the Christmas holidays. They wasn't able to make it. So, we had Jessica come over, and she was already planning on coming over anyway. So we just did a little Christmas there, and just sort of enjoyed. Really didn't do much for New Year's. If you go out for New Year's nowadays, David, I tell you, you're taking your life into your own hands.
Oh,
and it's not
absolutely.
you. It's not you. It's the other people.
The other people.
It is. Because to go out to a bar or to a big party or whatever, if you're going to drink, you definitely shouldn't drive. But, most people want to do that. And, you're on your way home at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And, you just never know what's going to happen there. So I just like to stay at home and watched the football games, watched a lot of college football, watched a lot of pro football when I could, and then I had to work in between those days. But 2025 should be a great year, not only for me and us, but for the country as well, as we got a new president that's going to be taking over on January the 20th. If y'all don't know by now, you may be living under a rock. That's going to be President Donald Trump, and J.D. Vance will be taking over our great country, and hopefully the economy will be picked back up. Immigration things that he's going to do will go into effect. Drilling our own oil being a little bit more sufficient. But when Byron comes in, we'll talk a little bit about that on the rest of the show. So, David.
Yes, sir.
Tell me first of all, how was your holidays, number one, and then we'll get to some of you guys' comments. And number two is what's your New Year's resolution? So let's start off with the holidays. Let's start off with Thanksgiving.
Well, holidays were not that great.
Okay.
Christmas Day, my daughter-in-law lost her favorite sister.
Yeah.
Now they got to pack up and go to Ohio. And that left me handling everything down at this end of the world. And we handled it okay. It'll be over by the 12th of this month and back to normal.
Yeah.
My resolution is about like last year, maybe just a little better improved. My diet, my exercise, my demeanor about life, and, stay happy and thoughtful.
Yep.
And respectful.
Right. And man, you can't ask for much more than that. And I think that's sort of what we hit up on the show. And any of y'all that are listening in, and thank you guys for listening in as I'll go over with you here. Byron Bagwell, which will be here in just a few minutes. Rob Barrett. Shirley, good evening. I have not forgot about getting a hold of you. I know you tried to get a hold of me. I promise you I will. Time is priceless. We talked about that. Like I said, you just never know. You know what I mean? Even if it's, like I said, even if it's spending 10, 15 minutes just talking about your day, I try to be better at that with my people and my family about talking about your day. How's your day? We always ask each other that. Was your day okay? That type of thing there. Even if it wasn't a good day, at least it's somebody that you can vent to that cares. You know what I mean? That cares about you, that cares about what happened in your day. So, just trying to be a little bit better with that. And, sometimes, man, things don't work out the way you plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have to, you have to sort of take that and work with it the best that you can. And I just, I'm just going to try, like you said, to take care of myself, and then, try to treat others like they want to be treated and like I want to be treated. You know what I mean? Treat them like I want to be treated. And like I said, sometimes, man, just do your best. That's all you can do, because sometimes you're not going to please everybody. We know that just because of what happens here on the show. People ain't going to always like what we talk about. Nope. And we're going to come to that here in just a little bit. But, we try to do the best that we can. And this show is not for me. It's not for you. It's not for Byron. We are just the faces of it and the host of it. You know what I'm saying? It's really for the people that are tuning in right now, and the people that's going to watch it later on. And we try to make it as entertaining and as fun as possible. And, try to get the information out that needs to be getting out, but also do what, try to do it in a professional and happy manner. You know what I mean? And show that the love to our viewers. So you were about to say something, David, and I continued on with that.
Last year was a horrible year. We had 80 83 crazy shootings in our country.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
And since that was posted, there's been 2 more.
Yep.
Las Vegas,
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and let's give it a break, and hopefully 25 can be a better year for everybody.
You know, you were talking about 83 shootings or incidents or events. You know, there's 365 days of the year. That's one every 4 days, or every 4.5 days.
God,
That is just absolutely
I did not
crazy.
think about that.
Yeah, I know it. You know, when you gave out that number, I just sort of did the math in my head. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, that is just an absolute horrible number. One every 4.5 days. When I was growing up, man, there was things that happened, bombings and things like that, and terrorist deals here and there, but not like you see here. It's become more domestic terrorism, more inside with us. The most things that we heard was outside, international, you know what I mean? Yes, it would happen. You know, the Twin Towers got it, you know, not back in 93. They tried that and stuff, and then, of course, the Oklahoma City bombings. But, man, it started becoming domestic. You know, really, it's domestic terrorism.
Exactly.
We're shooting our own people. I mean, because you're mad with a student because they bullied you around. And I'm not downplaying bullying at all, because bullying is a big problem, and we need to figure out how to take care of that. But some kids don't know how to do it, Dave, so they go home and get a gun and come back and just start shooting up the place. And it's just horrible.
There's so much hate in the world these days that some people just feel it's normal.
Yeah.
You know, and figure they can get away with it.
Yep, you're exactly right.
Wow.
That's crazy. Good evening, Rob Barrick. Lisa Moody Thomas said, yeah, very true. D.A. Dennis Cruz, thank you. Mitchell Gunner on the Spot Motorsports Media.
Yeah.
Don't forget, he's got a guest every day every Thursday and Tuesday. I think he may try to go with us as well. I'm not sure exactly which days. Maybe he'll tell us. But anyway, he'll have a guest every week this month and next month too, right?
Yeah, I believe he's booked up for
really good guest.
Months.
Really good guest, and he's got streaming of races and everything. So make sure you go, if you're into motorsports, go to see Mitchell Gunner and Robert on the Spot Motorsports Media page, and you'll be able to catch everything about NHRA, NASCAR, anything with 4 wheels, 2 wheels, a unicycle, he'll tell you about it. So I want to thank Mitchell for tuning in. Let's see here. Christopher Davis. Oh, I got to hit with Chris. So I haven't had a chance to talk to Chris. Chris did send me something about what he wants me to do. Chris, if you're still listening. Unfortunately, Chris had to shut his doors at the Barnyard Diner.
Oh.
Yeah, it just happened yesterday and into today. The Barnyard Diner will no longer be. He put out a nice post thanking everybody. I thought it was very nicely written by him and Casey and his family. And they're going to try another venture and do some other things. But the Barnyard Diner, which had some great food, great people that work there. The owners are absolutely fantastic. If y'all know Chris and Casey.
I've always seen people eating there.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah,
you know,
just
sometimes, you know, it's
good help's hard to find.
Yeah, well, and sometimes good customers is hard to find.
Yeah.
You know, and I personally thought, this is not coming from Chris or Chris's mouth, I thought personally some people from Stark should have been coming that way. I don't think he had a lot of traffic from Stark coming that way. There's several people, but most of it was within Lottie or traveling. They would see it and they could pull off right there. So Chris probably could tell you a little more about that than me, though.
I'm not going to beat a drum, but the rule for a good business is 3 things: location, location, location.
Yeah. And I get that, and I understand that. And I personally thought, and you get travelers all the time, but in the wintertime, unless it's a holiday, it usually slows down. So you probably wouldn't get as many travelers through there. He, a lot of the Lottie folks were loyal to him and would eat there. I just thought that, if I want to go and eat at, just saying, let's pick a place. Sonny's. I go to Sonny's. If I want to go eat there, I have to go to Star, right?
Yep.
If I want that. And I thought that his food, his product, his quality, the things that he did was number one.
Yep.
And I thought people from Stark should have came. But, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse on that. Chris could probably
Well, I
tell
wish
you.
him luck
Me
wherever
too.
he goes.
Absolutely.
Now, I hope it's local because I enjoy eating at his restaurant.
I do too. I really do. And Shannon Smith is watching. Lisa Moody's Tomlinson's watching. Laura Marie's watching. Austin's Weather Service. We're going to get into the weather here in just a little bit. Yo, hope everyone is staying warm. Yeah, it was nice and chilly this morning. I left at 3:30, David. That wind was kicking, and I think it was about 33 degrees.
Oh,
And I was like, man, heck with that. I'm like, I don't even want to go in. We now have 2 weather stations. He says in Keystone Heights, Florida, one is reading 37, the other one's reading 38. It's still dropping quickly. Temperature is low as 27 expected tonight. A freeze warning is in effect from midnight till 9 a.m. tomorrow. Make sure if you turn on your water so your pipes don't freeze, keep a little bit of water running. Make sure your plants are covered. Make sure anything outside that you don't want to freeze is covered. Because if it gets down to 27, that's below freezing, Dave.
that's cold.
That is cold. And he didn't say anything about the wind kicking, but that's kicking, oh boy. So Ellen Disher Williams is watching. You never know what someone's going through. You're exactly right, Ellen. Never know. And, you could be that star, shining star that brightens somebody's day. Brad and Donna Hildreth is watching. Byron Bagwell, I'm here. Don't have the code to get in. Byron, now you know Dave's going to go let you in. So here he comes. Lisa says Byron can't get in. Yeah, I just seen that. I wasn't sure what time he was going to be here, but I just seen that comment, and Raymond Roden's watching. So again, welcome on the spot with David Rodgers. First show back in 2025, January 7th, 2025. I hope all of y'all had a good holiday. I'd like to hear what your holidays was like for the people that are still on and listening in. Want to hear what your holiday was like, and also what your New Year's resolution is. Love to hear that. If you want to type those into the comments, I'd be more than glad to read those as well. So Byron will be coming in here in a minute. Maybe we'll have a quote or two, and then we're going to move on with the show because I've got a couple of things that I want to talk about as far as the content of the show here that's going to happen within the next several weeks. Change the format just a little bit, but like I said, I'll explain that when he gets in and he gets settled in. So a couple of things that are coming up that I'm going to be involved in Bradford County here. Finally, there he is. Oh boy, I'm going to let you get a chance to tell me how your holiday was and what your New Year's resolution is. Byron Bagwell's getting ready to join us here in just a second. Car show we're doing for the ARC. Anybody that doesn't know, I really haven't put it out there that I am. I'm on the board. I'm one of the fundraising coordinators for the ARC of Bradford County. I've been serving on the board for over a year and a half now. So Saturday, February the 15th, 2025, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., Florida International Rally and Motorsports Park, 7266 Airport Road, Stark, Florida 32091. We're going to be having a car show. We're calling for some vendors to help us out, showcase your products and services, connect with the community, and support individuals with intellectual and developmental differences. That's what the ARC's all about. This family-friendly event is perfect for car enthusiasts and casual visitors alike. Come out, connect with the community, and experience a celebration of horsepower and craftsmanship. The market will be held outside. Vendors are required to bring their own tables, chairs, tents, etc. For more information, you can go to info@theartbradford.org, theartbradford.org//car show, number 904-964-7699. That's already on the ARC's Facebook page. Byron's going to put it on his. I'm going to get ready to put it on mine. I believe Mitchell has put it on his, and we're going to get this out. But there will be a car show vendor application for you to fill out. You have to fill that and get that turned in before the event happens. Again, a car show Saturday, February 15th, Florida International Rally and Motorsport Park at Airport Road in Stark, Florida. Everybody knows what that's at. If you don't know about the Ark of Bradford County, just read this real quick. The Ark of Bradford County is dedicated to treating those we serve with dignity, to empower them to choose and realize their own goals, and to promote their strengths through education and advocacy with support of families, friends, and community. This year is very special. Byron, Dave, and people listening in, it's the 50th year that the Ark's been around. They're celebrating their 50th year. We're making a big deal about it because I really think it is a big deal for an organization like that relies on funding from the state somewhat, but from just individuals and the fundraisers and the things that they do, their wood shop, the people that work at their wood shop, they rely on those funds to keep that organization running. And sometimes, man, it is hard to get funds, especially now today when everybody's always asking for something or looking for somebody to sponsor something. It's very tough, but we got a lot of great people that donate to this cause, and as part of our board, Byron, that really, really do a good job. And we're going to keep doing it. But celebrating 50 years, for half a century, the Ark of Bradford County has proudly supported individuals with intellectual and developmental differences. They call that IDD. Championing their rights and enhancing their lives. Over these 50 years, they've ensured that individuals with IDD have had access to the community, fostering an environment of inclusion and empowerment. As one of the only organizations in our county serving individuals with IDD, their mission is vital not only to the success of those they serve, but also to the enrichment of the entire community. Since opening in January of 1975, when it all started, provided day training services to a small group of individuals that have grown to offer a wide range of programs and services. Today, the Ark of Bradford County also provides residential services supporting living and personnel support, employment services, and as of 2024, they just got into mental health services. Again, that's what the 50-year anniversary is of the Ark of Bradford County. It'll be going on all year. There's all kinds of things that are going on with that we're going to be doing, but this car show is the main thing. Again, join us for an exciting day filled with classic and custom cars from local car clubs, unique products and services from community vendors, exciting raffles, and more. This family-friendly event is perfect for car enthusiasts and casual visitors alike. Come out and connect with the community and experience a celebration of horsepower and craftsmanship. Funds raised will support programs and services for individuals with intellectual and development differences in our community. There will be a sponsorship level there that we'll put out there. I'm not going to go over that. You'll be able to see that yourself. But there's a bronze, silver, gold, premier, and presenting sponsor. Goes anywhere from $100 to $1,000. You'll see what you'll get for that particular sponsorship level. Again, there'll be a form on there as well on the site, and again, it'll be about the flyer and everything for the cars to be able to register, and everything will be on there as well. So that's the next thing that'll be coming up for me on February the 15th. If you're not busy, I'd like to have your help and your help as well. I could always use the help with that. We'll also have the art board there. I think Mitchell's got a race or something. I don't know if he'll be able to help, but at least us three. And so I will be in charge of that car show. So make sure you tell everybody, spread the word for us as well. Joining in is Mr. Byron Bagwell. Byron, we started off the show, and I think you were listening as you were coming in. We were talking about, our hiatus from the show. We think we did 2 shows since Thanksgiving, and we sort of just took a hiatus like we normally do, maybe a little longer because of the holiday season. So I want you to talk about your holiday, let's start from Thanksgiving over the New Year's, and what's your New Year's resolution?
Well, Thanksgiving was a blur. To tell you the honest truth, I'm not 100% sure what I did for Thanksgiving anymore.
Yeah, I hear you.
This holiday's has gone by really fast. I got to spend some time with a very special woman, and I spent time with my mom, and we had Christmas at Mom's house, and we celebrated, had some good food. As far as my resolutions go, we went on a cruise too for New Year's. That's part of what's the blur about that is about in my mind. Which we had a really good time. Got to go to Puerto Rico and Saint Martin and the Dominican Republic. And if you want to really appreciate life inside of the United States, go outside of the United States, and you'll start understanding why people want to come here. It's beautiful in those places, but it's also a little bit eye-opening when you see basically the lifestyle that people live in different countries. Now, if you go to Europe, you're going to see some of the same things that you have here. But if you start going to places outside of Europe, you start really appreciating the United States and what we have as citizens of this country. As far as resolutions go, I would love to lose some weight too, brother.
Yeah.
I've gained some weight, and I'd like to lose back down to about 180 pounds. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition. That's one of the hardest things to do, especially for people that like to eat. And everybody knows that David likes to eat. And everybody knows that I do, and Dave does too.
Yeah,
and we like the good stuff, and the good stuff isn't always good for you. So it's a hard thing to do, especially if you like sodas like I do. I drink a lot of sodas, and most of them.
I'm glad you mentioned that because Byron, I think we're sort of alike when it comes to the things as far as what we like to eat, what we like to drink. Got one right here, man. It is hard. That's Byron. It is hard, man. I'll stop every morning. Now I'm trying to do as good as I can. Well, if I'm trying to drink Coke Zero.
Yeah.
Coke Zero or Diet, something like that. But then every once in a while, I'll go into a store and go, man, that tastes like crap. And then I'll give me a Mountain Dew. Yeah. I agree with Byron. It's 100%. It is hard to do, especially our jobs.
No, not only that, you're talking about the caffeine level in it, and if you start cutting that caffeine way back, it's going to affect your body in an adverse fashion, and it's not always a pleasant adverse fashion.
Right.
That's one of them, and I'm actually considering, a lot of different life changes right now, and I want to make this year the best year that I've had in a long time. Last year was not a very good year. I lost my father.
Right.
That was a hard life change. I still think about calling him all the time.
Of course.
I'll see something or do something, and it's like, pick up the phone. Can't do
Same
it
with
anymore.
me.
Love your family, and love your friends, because they're not going to be here forever.
My mom's been gone 10 years, and I still want to call her.
Yeah, I mean, there are times that you sit back and you think, I'm about to call them, and then it dawns.
All my life, it's been, I've lived in Florida, most of my life, and call home, and I talk to my mom 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't change.
No, the thought of that doesn't change, and I've on those occasions.
I do want to get to and you're right, and Byron was talking about his dad, and that was a trying time for all of us, and I know your mom. It's been hard for her, and y'all tried to give her the love that you could, and that we could as well, and doing some of the things that we do, and we do it because it's the love for all of us and what we have. And I do want to read a comment. I know I've seen your mom's long post there, and I'm gonna let you read that. Okay.
You can't replace somebody in a relationship like what my parents had. You can't do it, and you can't really fully understand it unless you're in a relationship like that.
Right. Tom Bailey, I see that you're watching. Happy New Year to you, too. I do have one question for you.
Oh, God.
I do have one question for you. I'll go ahead and get you started.
Oh, God.
Boy, I'll tell you what, brother. I thought you were going to jump off the Empire State Building when Michigan beat Alabama. I was like, my goodness, you wanted to fire everybody. You wanted to kick Jalen Milroe to the curb.
He became an Ohio State fan.
I was going to say that, Byron. I'm like, you're an Ohio State fan now? I know you are, Dave. You're from Ohio.
Absolutely.
But him, I mean, everything he stands for the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I had to say that to Tom. Tom, Happy New Year to you, man. Brother, I'm just busting your chops a little bit. But, I mean, just some of his posts, man. I'm going to be honest with you, and we know Tom now. Some of them scare me a little bit. I ain't going to lie to you because it's some of the things that he says. And then you get to talking to him like in a personal message, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I see where this is going, you know. But
half the stuff he posts is to stir people up.
And that's he said that, and that's what he did. He did say that. So Tom Bailey, I hope you're still on, man. Happy New Year to you, brother. Lisa said they had a wonderful Christmas. Then off to the Eastern Caribbean for a fabulous cruise with some awesome people. Enjoy bringing in 2025 with Byron and his mom. New Year's resolution: enjoy life to the fullest and love those people in my life. Leave the past in the past. Great resolutions. Absolutely. You asked about the New Year's resolution. Do you want to read that one from your mama?
I can.
Why don't you do that? I think that would be fitting.
You asked about the New Year's resolution. At the risk of being melodramatic, I would like to share. As most of you know, I lost my husband in April. I would like to give you an example of what the community is like. The man who owns the company I got my fireplace from, he no longer does house calls, and his employees do that. When he found out that I needed help, he personally came to help. When he left, he gave me his cell number and said that if I need anything, no matter what it was, just to call him. My resolution is to try to be that kind of person to others who may need help and understanding.
That's a great resolution. That's well written. That's well documented right there, Shirley. And you're exactly right. And I know that Byron was coming in and was listening, and I was basically saying the same thing, Byron. You know, sometimes, man, sometimes, and I think you're going to know where I'm going with this without filtering it out. Sometimes things happen that you can't help, or that, you know, that overcomes something. And sometimes you let that build up, and I think you're going to know where I'm going with this. Sometimes you let that build up, and then it gets out of hand. And then something else happened, and then it spirals on top of that. And I think Lisa hit it right on the head about leave the past in the past. And that's what we all need to do. I say everybody that's watching this show and anybody that's here, we just need to leave that in the past. And sometimes, you know, you have to talk face to face about it and just get it resolved that way. You know, when you do this, you're not seeing that person's emotion. All you're seeing is what's being typed, and what you've even said this many times on the show, talking about politics and other things. When you write something, that's not, everybody thinks it's meant the way that it's written, and sometimes it isn't.
Well,
and that's
you have to understand something about when you text somebody or you send an email to somebody.
Yeah.
The context is missing. The only thing that's there is the words. And it's the easiest way in the world to be misunderstood.
Yep.
It really, really is. Because words have meaning, but without physical expression from those words, you can really, really misunderstand somebody. And all it takes is one word to be mistyped, and it turns into something else, too.
Yes, it does.
So, look, it's just be careful what you type and what you say, because people can misunderstand it.
That's exactly right.
And I've been saying that for years on this show, because all it takes is one simple word to be misplaced, and you have a whole entire another
Yeah, you're right.
And for the love of God, don't ever use the talk to text and not read what you use with talk to text, before you send it, because it will give you all sort of wackiness.
Yep.
You will come out with some stuff that you really don't want to send to anybody.
So, okay, this is what I know about this.
What did you do?
This is what I know.
What did you do?
Well, I didn't do anything, but I will. Somebody asked me, is Coach Jamie Rodgers Bradford's coach still? Is he going anywhere? I can answer that to what I know of that circumstance. Back, how many weeks ago was that, Byron? 3 or 4 weeks ago when we had that roast?
Yeah.
We had a roast for Jamie Rodgers, Coach Jamie Rodgers, and his staff, and it turned out really well. It was a fundraiser because, as all y'all know, and me and Byron will get into this more, the NIL situation has come into play into high school football. And you still need money to operate your program.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the boosters can't do it all. You're relying on you are relying on your boosters. You're relying on your sponsors out in town, and you're relying on things like we just did, a roast, for Coach Rodgers, where you can raise money, and I think they did pretty good. I don't know what the total was, but anyway, Coach Rodgers and Coach Staples assured me that they're not going anywhere. They're here. They are the coaches of the Bradford Tornadoes, and any rumor mills that you hear out there, because I've seen several, and hadn't had a chance to talk to Byron since he's been back, because he got back and he do some things, and now he's back to work as I am. But there's been some rumor mills that Coach Rodgers is leaving. He is not leaving. Coach Staples is not leaving. Nobody's leaving. As a matter of fact, kids are wanting to come to Bradford, and I know several that are already here and that will be here. So Bradford's going to be just Bradford like Bradford is, and they're going to be good again next year, and Coach Jamie Rodgers at the helm. I don't know if you heard anything or if anybody's asked you or if you've seen any kind of little excerpts about that, but no, he is not going anywhere. He is the head coach of the Bradford Tornado football team.
Yeah, as far as I know, I haven't seen anything legitimate that would even lead me to believe that he's going anywhere. Part of me says that it would be foolish for him to go anywhere else, with the exception of 2 places, and
Are they open? I don't think they are.
One of the major big class schools, like I don't know, St. Thomas Aquinas or IMG or something like that.
Yeah.
Or a college program. That would be the only way I could see Jamie going somewhere, Coach Rodgers going somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
But about him. But I still haven't seen anything, and I still haven't heard anything, and I think I would have a little birdie in my head.
I believe so, because we would. Hey, you don't think me and you'd be on the horn talking about this? And we would be on the horn. And Shirley, thank you for those kind words.
The problem with that is, who is stepping into Jamie Rodgers' shoes after
that's
that?
the thing.
I mean, nobody's going to want to follow that.
Now, don't. When I say that, and Byron says that, teams are courting for sure. I know a team right down the road here that me and Byron really don't like at all, that would throw the kitchen and probably has thrown the kitchen sink at him to get him back. As a matter of fact, a boy that I work with, I got several guys that live over in Baker County.
I'm sorry.
He asked me today. He goes, "Man, we want Jamie back bad, man. We're trying to throw the kitchen sink at him, this and that." And I'm like, Kelly, he ain't going nowhere. He's here. He's in Bradford County. And if Kurt Miracle and all the boosters has anything to do with it, he ain't going nowhere.
He's not going nowhere.
No, I ain't going nowhere.
I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
We had some news this morning in the NFL that affects our area.
I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
What is your thoughts of Jacksonville firing Peterson?
Peterson.
Not Pedersen, but Peterson.
Look, me and you are both Jaguar fans. David, I know you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, but I know you follow the Jaguars and you like to go to Jaguars games. I know there's several Jaguar fans on here. Look, were they 4 and 3? Were they 3 and 14 or 4 and 13?
4 and 13.
4 and
or
13.
4 and 8, something.
Yeah, there were 17 games this year, right? Yeah, there were 17 games. They were 4 and 13 or 3 and 14, right? In either way, it doesn't matter.
Well,
Go ahead, and then I'll chime in on that.
I have an issue.
Okay.
I have a real issue. The NFL has been doing this for years. Part of it is they get some teams, and I'm not saying Jacksonville did, because I really don't think this is the case with Jacksonville. Some teams will get these quarterbacks high in the draft, throw all this money at them, and they're not good quarterbacks. And then they'll expect the coach to come in and make them good quarterbacks, and it doesn't happen, and the coaches get fired. And then it's crazy because what do you expect anybody to do? I mean, there's been very, 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 very few coaches ever that could take a mediocre quarterback and make them great quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. They also do this, and I really believe this is what Jacksonville has done with Trevor Lawrence. They have hired a coach who runs an offensive style, along with the offensive coordinator who came with him, that runs an offensive style that does not fit Trevor Lawrence.
Agreed.
It just doesn't. You're trying to jam a square peg into a round hole, and it doesn't work like that. You have Trevor Lawrence is an extremely talented quarterback, yep. But you have to match the offensive system to his play style. If he is playing in something that he is not comfortable in, he is not playing up to his full potential. And I really think that's what has happened with Jacksonville. I have an issue with that style offense anyway, because I utterly cannot stand that type of West Coast offense. But that's me. I wouldn't run that at all. I'm sorry, I just would not run that at all. But that's him, and he's won a Super Bowl with it, so he brought it in. And everybody in Jacksonville expected, hey, he's won a Super Bowl. He'll get us back to the playoffs. He'll get us baak high in the playoffs, maybe even get us the Super Bowl. You got to have the right pieces to do that. And Trevor Lawrence was not his pick.
So let me add on something to that, and I agree with what Byron said. I had mixed emotions about this. There's two things that if you look back over the Jaguars season, we're talking about the Jaguars right now, they lost 10 games by less than one score. By less than one score. So that tells me right there that the defense did their job for the most part. I think there's a couple of pieces that they could add, but for the most part, the defense did their part.
Decent defense.
Yes, decent defense. I think that the offensive line had more holes than Swiss cheese. I think that they need to revamp that offensive line, because Trevor Lawrence, unless he's a miracle man, can't throw the ball off his back. And I can tell you right now, that young man hardly had time to look down the field to throw anything. And when he did make the plays necessary. And to be honest with you, Byron, I think that's why he's hurt right now, because he was trying to do some things that he is not in his scheme, or that he doesn't feel comfortable in his skill set, that he's not comfortable in doing. And again, when you got a line that, has allowed, I forgot how many sacks it was. I was going to tell you tonight, and I forgot.
It was terrible.
But it was horrible. But they need to revamp that offensive line. If they do that, Byron, I think if they had any kind of offensive line, I think that team is at least 10-7, 9-8, or something like that. They're not 3-14 or 4-13.
Well, if you also look at it, people are going to say, well, when he had time, he just missed throws. I can tell you right now, a good percentage of that West Coast offense is timing patterns. And when a quarterback misses those throws like that, it can be two things. It can be the quarterback just missed the throw, or it could be the receiver is not where they were supposed to be. And that adds in a whole nother bucket of problems, because guess what? Did the wide receivers that you draft, do they fit that scheme?
Yep.
See, that's the issue with this. You can't just take any coach and plug them in with any players.
So I was going to ask you, and I was going to call you, and I know we're going to get back to our calling about football games. But Sunday night, I wanted to call you, but I figured you were busy
God,
trying. So, did you watch that Detroit Minnesota game?
It was
So. Let me give
horrible.
you what Byron's example is. Sam Darnold has been a great quarterback all year long. The other night, when they was playing the Detroit Lions, what's his name? Jefferson, the wide receiver for Minnesota. Jefferson, right? The kid from LSU. He was wide open several times, and Darnold just missed the throw. And you could see the frustration on his face because they would continuously show his face. But there was one in the end zone where he was wide. David, I could have just floated it there, and he overthrew him from here to the mirror over there.
Oh,
it's just there was several throws like that. It just sometimes, man, it just happens. I mean, what are you supposed to do? I mean, and I think that's what you were trying to say about Trevor Lawrence. Sometimes those throws happen.
Those happen. And
Yeah.
the question is it the quarterback or is it the receiver?
Correct.
Now, I'm going to say this. There are games every once in a while that I watch that I really think the NFL scripts.
Oh, without a doubt.
That game was scripted. I don't care what anybody says because there were holding calls all over the place that weren't called. There was pass interference calls all over the place that weren't called. Detroit was playing with a completely depleted back end and playing with their second and third string players against a player like Jefferson.
Yeah.
And they were winning those matchups? No, they were not winning those matchups. Jefferson was being held. Jefferson was being tackled. Arms were being drugged down. Mm-hmm. I was sitting there going, what is pass interference on 4 or 5 plays? Because they had a hold of one of the Minnesota's Vikings receivers' arms, and they're going up trying to catch the ball one-handed, and that doesn't always work.
Well, there was a pass where the tight end was coming across the middle, and I mean he got absolutely obliterated.
Hammered, and the ball is from me to Dave.
From him. I'm like,
Dave's about 5 yards.
5 yards, yeah. So
I watched all that, and I
Yeah.
went, this is no. What they're doing is they're setting up the great Mahomes.
yeah.
And Detroit again to have a rematch.
Well, and that's my pick for the Super Bowl, and I'm glad you talked about that. We'll talk about that as we get.
If you got money, I would.
Because
that's what it looks like.
That's what it definitely looks like, because we know what Vegas is all about. They're all about making money. They're not all about losing money, because they was about losing money. Guess what? Vegas wouldn't be Vegas, would it? It sure wouldn't. So anyway, let me read a couple of these comments real quick as we're going to 5 after 8, Dave, local time. Got to get a couple of things. Thank you, Shirley, for the nice words. Just so everyone knows, both Byron, Lisa, and David and his family have been there for me for anything I need, and we will. We continually will be doing that. And Lisa said, right, we always will be there for you. Love you. Kevin Jordan's watching. Kim Lee's watching.
Hey, Kevin.
Lynn Woods, Melissa Cribbs. And where is the Chamber of Banquet Commerce of this year? Great question, Shirley. We need to find out, because I am not sure. So we'll find that out, and we'll. I need to get with Pam anyway, because I got to ask her a couple things about this car show here. I think today was one business, so I'll ask her about that. But one thing I wanted, Byron, I wanted to get into tonight before we close down the show here a little bit. We love doing what we do, first of all. And I love Byron, and I love Dave, and I love Mitchell, and I love everybody that watches this show. But over the holidays, looking at some things, talking with some different people, just getting a feel and gauge of some of the things that we do. We're thinking about going a little bit of different direction on the OTS show here. And it's not, and this is not, it's just going to happen over succession. It's not going to happen tonight, next week, or whatever, but in a period of time. First and foremost, I'm going to talk about my co-host for a minute. I'm my host. He's not really my co-host. He's my host. So, because what I'm going with this is, it's going to change sort of the dynamics of what we do. We're going to be the same, but it's going to sort of change the dynamics and things that we do. First and foremost, this guy knows politics like the back of his hand. I know that he says, I don't know everything, but he knows most of it, and he follows it, and he keeps up with it. And I know that's a topic that y'all like to discuss here on the show, and we do as well, because I think it's very important, especially if you're not following it, or you're getting news or things about politics 1 or 2 days out or whatever. We're here, and he can bring it to you, and he does a great job with it. He also does a great job with the local stuff and the other topics that we talk about. So that's first and foremost. But me and Byron also, and Dave and Mitchell, because of what he does, we love sports. Me and Byron, we can sit there. I can tell you, we haven't done it lately just because of scheduling and stuff. We can sit there when Florida State's playing or whoever's playing. We can sit there on the phone and go, "Did you see that? Did you see that? Boy, is that pass interference? Did you?" We could talk about how long we've been on the phone for hours. Haven't we, done? And it just wasn't Florida State. It was any game.
Well, we sit there. We used to sit there and watch a whole entire football game and talk about it on the phone.
On the phone.
Yeah.
And but things change in life, and we can't always do that, but we still do it to an extent. But anyway, we both love sports, and it's just not football. Basketball, baseball, college softball, golf, whatever. Golf. We all love it. I know you told me you wanted to go play around at some point, right? Well, we talked about your wedge shot on the tornado football game.
No. Duck hooks.
We'll talk about. He said, "Don't we ain't talking about no." What'd you say? Soccer? Was it soccer?
Soccer and I'd rather talk about
rugby. We could talk rugby.
We could talk rugby.
We can talk rugby because we love that. But anyway, what I'm getting ready to say is, cricket. Sports, cricket. Sports is 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So is politics. So is everything. But we really love sports, and we sometimes we really focus on tornado football here and local football in the area, or if anything that's affected with Bradford sports, we discuss here, and I think we do a good job at it. But I think that as the year progresses, and like I said, as weeks progress, we're going to go to a more sports oriented show. We're going to talk about those things because me and Dave and Byron talked about. We're still going to talk some politics. We're still going to talk what's the local happenings because I think that's very important. But for the most part, we're going to talk sports, and we're going to talk different things, just like Byron brought up. What'd you think about the firing of the coach of the Jaguars? Byron could have brought up, how about the firing of McCarthy?
Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, you could have brought that up. He could have brought up there's many things and many topics that we can talk about. We could talk about how Florida State did in the transfer portal. Is it going to show out on the field next year? These are things and topics that we can discuss that he knows about. So what I'm trying to say is he's not only diversified or he knows just politics. He knows sports too. If you've listened to any of the football games that we call, I mean, as far as color commentary, he breaks that play down, just like some of the major players that do it on television does it. And you've only been doing it now, what, 3 years now? You're going on your fourth, right?
Going into the fourth year.
Going into the fourth year, and that's 4 short years, isn't it? How quick did that go?
Really quick. David, it's because I've loved football all of my life, and I've sit there and done that because I wanted to understand the game. I started learning what they were doing.
Right.
And it went from there. And I think some of those conversations that we were talking about that we used to have, we'd sit there and talk the whole entire football game, is what led you into asking me to do that. Because you knew from talking to me endlessly about football that it would probably work well.
Hey, Shirley, absolutely not. And you asked me that the other day before y'all went on that cruise. No, absolutely not. We're not quitting the show at all. That wasn't even in the realm of things. What we're trying to do is sometimes when you do shows and you talk certain things and the viewership that we have, sometimes, it doesn't matter what you talk about. You're going to lose viewers. You're going to lose interest of people. Sure. It just happens. That is human nature. But I think with sports, what we're trying to do is we're just trying to elevate, and I'll just be honest with you, we're trying to elevate viewership. We're trying to elevate to be able to go to other platforms, to bring this show to. And so we can do it bigger and better than what we're doing. So as we thought about it over the several past weeks here, and this has been big on an ongoing topic, here sporadically throughout last year. I just think it's better that if we concentrate on sports, because there's just so many genres of sports and so many areas of sports that we can talk about and that we will know about. And I think it's just it'll help our ratings, it'll help our show, it'll help boost our show. And again, we're not getting away from the local stuff and the politics, because why would I sit here with a guy that knows politics and follows national news and not get into that? Yeah, we're going to get into that. It's just not going to be the dominating factor, Byron, of the show. We want to, like I said, we want to be into the sports realm along with those other things.
The other thing is you cannot they're intertwined. Politics and sports are intertwined.
Yes.
Now, what used to be, it was just at the pro level.
Yeah.
Now it's at every single level there
Yes.
is. You mentioned something that's a sore spot for me a while ago. The NIL dealings with high school athletes. There is a ton of stuff that goes into that, and it all comes, unfortunately, from that county that's a little bit further south from us. That I
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna tell you, that is one of the worst ideas that you could possibly ever do, because a teenager does not, for the most part, there are few and far in between teenagers. So I'm not going to say all teenagers, but for the most part, teenagers don't know how to handle money.
No.
Period. Some of their parents don't know how to handle money.
Right.
So you're telling me you're going to give let's say, a $50,000 NIL deal to one of these fabulously talented high school students? Who is the money going to? It's going to their parents. It's not going to them. What are their parents going to do with that money? This is too wide open. It's too wide open in high school. It's too wide open in college. And I'm telling you, they're going to have to change some of the things that they are doing, or they're going to ruin the sport of football at the collegiate level and at the high school level. There are some things that are going to happen with that are going to destroy it.
I love watching Division II and Division III football. I think Byron's seen those national championship games are scoped out. Do you know that those players get zero NIL? They hardly even get a scholarship. Some of those schools, right? It's mostly walk-ons, right? Preferred walk-ons, and that because they love to play ball. They're not getting any NIL deals. They're getting a great education from a great institution, and there's no NIL. That's what I like about Division II and Division III football. Now I think FCS does pay some players. I think there's NIL there. But that was two of the purest games that I watched, was that Division II and that Division III game, and not taking anything away from Montana State and the FCS and North Dakota State. That was a hell of a football game. But those other two games, man, I tell you what, I love watching kids that ain't got nothing to play for except their scholarship go out there and leave it all on the field and still win a national championship.
I tell you, there's 4 teams in major division that if you want to watch that play like that, and they don't get NIL money, and that is the service corps teams. Mm-hmm. They don't get that.
They don't get it. Yeah.
And Army was unbelievably good this year, and Navy was surprisingly good this year.
Yep.
So
Air Force was down, but they're usually pretty good. But those three, like you said, they don't get nothing.
They don't get anything.
They don't get nothing.
You watch those kids play. They play.
Yep.
They play, and they play hard. Part of it's because they have the discipline instilled by them by the military.
Right.
But that's pure. I mean, that's pure really pure football. They may not be quite as talented as some of these other teams, But any given day, those teams will beat those other teams because they have the discipline, and most of those other teams don't. And that's happening more and more and more. This year it is a prime example of that. FSU, and I don't care what anybody said, was loaded with talent.
Loaded.
And could not get out of their own way. It was one of the hardest things to watch that I've watched in the history of FSU football while I've been alive watching it. It was terribly difficult to watch. And it all as a result of the transfer portal and the NIL money. We were talking about putting, square pegs in round holes. That's exactly what they did with the transfer portal.
Yep.
And it didn't work. When it works, it's great.
Yep.
The other thing that happens with that is when you get somebody out of a transfer portal in there, a sophomore, and they stay the whole entire time, guess what? You build those quarterbacks up, Travis, and they turn out to be good players. When they leave after 1 year because they're not doing what they think they should be doing, they're bouncing round and round and round and round,
Yeah.
like a certain quarterback we had this year, they stink.
Yep. No continuity. How many times have you say no continuity?
There was no chemistry.
Chemistry.
None. I'm sorry, you got me on a soapbox with that one, bro.
No. And that's exactly what we were just saying. And I wanted to lead in with that. And that's exactly what we could see. That just that one topic right there. And Byron, and I'm glad he did that. You talked about that for 7 minutes. Just that, and we could have talked 107 minutes about that. And that's why we want to go into that realm a little bit. Just something a little bit different. Shirley, I assure you, we are not getting away from the political or the local stuff. We're just going to primarily focus, and you'll see as we start doing stories and things like that, that it's going to be a lot, just like Mitchell does with his page. And I'm not trying to copy Mitchell in any way. We helped create that page, and Mitchell took it and put his own thoughts and his own ideas in it, and he made it work as he sees that he needed to make it work.
Excellent job.
Excellent job. Oh, yeah, and I told him, I seen him Sunday. We talked about, I told you that we talked about his page and some of the things that he needed to do and that we need to get done for him so he can take that to the next level. And that's what we want to do with this show here. We just want to take it a little bit further and another step up. And then, like I said, get onto these Byron, get onto these other social media outlets. And again, somebody said, well, is it about you trying to make money? No, it's not about making money. If we're good enough, and the money will come. But no, somebody asked me that, and I want to address that. It's not about making money, because if it was about making money, Byron, Dave, Mitchell, we'd have done this 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It's not about that.
And not only that, David, we between the three of us and Mitchell, four of us,
Right.
we could come up with a format. And actually write stories and do things like that. If it was about making the money, we would have been doing that a long time ago.
Absolutely.
And doing research into different stuff. And
Right.
formatting this like a truly professional show.
Right.
We tried that for a little while at one point, and it did not work because it broke the chemistry up.
It
between
broke yes.
David, me, and Mitchell up. Is what it did.
It did. And you're right. And that's exactly right. So as you see on the spot, as you do with Mitchell's page, you're going to see more stories. Byron may find something out about Florida State that he will post, and we'll all have all these rights, and he'll post. And I may have one. And then you may see one where, hey, President Trump just lit somebody's tail up. Byron will post that. It's going to be a little mixture of everything, but I want the main focus, and I think we'll all agree, is the sports, because honestly, everybody loves sports. Most everybody does, and they have a certain team they root for, or they have a certain individual that they root for, and we just want to be able to hit those areas. And like I said, if it makes money somewhere down the line, if we get on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, and it makes money, that's fine. But like Byron said, if we wanted to make money, we'd have done this many years ago.
Could have done this many. It really could have
Yeah.
done this many years ago. David, do you want me to go into any politics?
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, yeah. We got several minutes there. I want you to definitely go into some of the things that's been going on here recently, and you can take it however you want to take it, and whichever story you want to start with.
Well, first and foremost, condolences to the family of Jimmy Carter. He passed.
Yep.
The one of our past presidents. They laid him in state today.
Yes, we do.
Condolences. I'm not. I could go into a million different things about Jimmy Carter, but I'm not going to do that tonight because they just laid the man in state at the Capitol, which is what they should have done.
Absolutely.
He was a past president. That was one of the things that I wanted to mention in condolences. Second, I think there are a ton of people that I have talked to that have said something about this deal with Biden doing what he did with no new oil drilling in any of the territories around the United States and any of the waterlands and all that stuff. Hogwash. He can't do that. As soon as Donald Trump comes into office, he'll sign an executive order and that will all be over. Do not let the media mess with your head. He can't do that. So he doesn't have the power to do that now. Congress did that, passed a law that said you couldn't do that, and the Senate basically agreed with them and sent it up there, and he signed that bill. Then that would be a different process to get it taken care of. But with what he did, Donald Trump will come in and sign an executive order, basically deleting his action, and that will be the end of that. I wanted to tell that because I've heard there's been multiple people that have said that, and I'm like, no, you can't do that.
Can I ask you a question? Speaking of Joe Biden, and I'm glad you covered that. Somebody asked me this question today. I didn't know the answer, and maybe you do. So y'all have all seen where Joe Biden has pardoned all these people, and specifically his son and others that Byron can mention if he wants to. But my question is, or the question that was brought to me is once the pardon is granted, can President Trump come back? It's done, right?
It's done.
Okay. There's your answer.
It's done.
I'll tell whoever it was.
I am not 100% sure about nepotism. I am not sure. 100% sure about the congressional statutes on that. That may be something somebody could look into if they wanted to, but that would be political death probably. But
So once they're pardoned, as far as that's done, okay. So
one of the most despicable things he did was give George Soros the congressional. George Soros. Start looking into George Soros and his history. That is despicable. I mean, despicable. There were other people on that list. I went, are you kidding me? And then I saw George Soros, and my blood pressure went through the roof. I'm like, you can say this man was a philanthropist. I can't even say it tonight.
Philanthropist.
It made that makes me so mad I can't speak. But you'd also say he helped the Nazis in World War II. Mm-hmm. The Nazis. You know, the ones that were killing all the Jewish people.
Yeah, and Lisa, I wasn't going to say that name. I was hoping Byron would bring that name up too. Hillary Clinton. Yeah. And that one probably, okay, I understand Soros. Yes, I agree, Byron.
Oh my God, that is
But Hillary Clinton, are you sitting here telling me 9 years ago, 2015, right? 2015, with Benghazi, when Benghazi happened.
Oh,
she's not going to pay for this? Is she going to pay for that? I guess not now.
No, right. That was not a pardon, David. They gave her the congressional. Or not,
yeah.
Is the congressional honor? I said George Soros, and my head went.
Yeah, but did I not see where he pardoned him to? I think he did pardon him.
He didn't pardon any of those because nobody had charges on that side.
Okay.
Look.
So those charges, as far as we know right now, those charges. But yeah, she's right, Hillary Clinton. Yeah.
Look. What he's talking about with Benghazi is really simple. There were 3 people in the United States that could have stopped that as it started.
Yep.
One of them was Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
One of them was Joe Biden,
Yeah.
and the other one was Barack Obama. And they basically sit there and let Al-Qaeda kill Americans. By the way, we were at war with Al-Qaeda at the time.
Yep. Yep.
Everybody throws the treason word around and don't have a concept of what treason is. That is treason. You don't aid and abet an enemy, and that's exactly what they did by their inactions. So I have some very strong feelings on that, and we've had almost a whole show talking about that.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't want to dig that back up, because it makes another thing that makes my blood pressure just
I do.
boil off, because they kill those Americans, by the way, and they killed one of our consulates. That their blood's on those people's heads, as far as I'm concerned. But he gave the Congressional Medal of Honor to Hillary Rodham Clinton and George Soros. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look, it all boils down to the man who was Hillary Rodham Clinton's protege, or not protege, who Hillary Rodham Clinton was protege of, in his book, Rules for Radicals. And if you haven't read it, you might want to, if you can stomach past the dedication, which is Satan, by the way. The book's dedicated to Satan. Yeah. That was her mentor that did that. Matter of fact, she was going to go off and study with him right before she met Bill, and she met Bill Clinton and realized Bill was going to be the governor of Arkansas, and then married Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Instead of going off with dipstick.
Yeah. Yeah. You're exactly right.
But we're giving Congressional Medal of Honor out to just anybody now. Some of the people on that list were just, I mean, ridiculous. You look at it and go, are you kidding me? That used to be. It used to be a sacred thing that you actually had to do something really good,
right,
to get. Now they're just throwing it around to actors and musicians and everything else. It's like, what are you doing?
But on a good note, Byron,
Huh?
January 20th is going to be a great day.
January, and it's already been confirmed, by the way. He will be the next president of the United States, and there's nothing nothing the Democrat Party can do about that. Yes, she did.
She did? Did she?
She had
Okay,
no
good.
choice.
She had no choice. She had no choice.
There was
And by the way,
no
she
lawsuits.
is Kamala Harris.
Nothing
Yeah,
about
so just that-
about the electoral college.
No.
About anything, because he won the popular vote too.
Definitely.
You
right.
can't do anything about that. Goodbye, nightmare. Thank God. Now, can Donald Trump clean this mess up in 4 years? I don't know the answer to that. Donald Trump was a good president the first time through. I thought he made some mistakes, just like all presidents do. But can he fix this? Because this is still a mess. People may not realize that, but we have issues right now.
I will say this: if anybody can do it, he can.
Well, you know, the
Yeah.
first thing that if I was Donald Trump, I would do is not only would I close off the border, I would stop all immigration, period, until we can figure out where all of these people that they just let in this country illegally are. There would be no more immigration into this country. And people think that sounds harsh. There was about a 50-year period of time in this country, and it's not been that long ago, where there was no immigration into this country. And guess what? The Democrats did that.
So, was there? Let me ask something. Was there? Did y'all have TV on the boat a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. You was able to watch some ball games. Was you able to watch? Did you see Donald Trump's speech the other night?
Did not.
Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about that. So, his speech was really good. You know, he got Patriot of the Year award. Did you know that?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
he got the Patriot of the Year award
From who?
from the Republican Party.
Oh.
Yeah, from the Conservative Party, but he got the
That's not
But
the
anyway,
Conservative Party.
yeah, I know. Yeah, but still, he was talking to, and there was a bunch of people there, and he talked about the immigration, and somebody maybe had asked him earlier or something how he was going to fix it, and the answer really didn't surprise me, but I'm glad he's sort of doing it. He said he's going to use the military to patrol the border, and he's going to take the ICE agents and the agents that are working the border and let them do, he said, their damn job, going door to door and going place to place and getting these people out of here. I thought that was a good answer. I don't know if you like it or not, but look, there's, I know that the military, there's, I don't want to say, don't let me use the dead weight, but there's military personnel that's not doing a whole bunch right now that could help out with this, but he wants the ICE agents to do their job like they're paid to do.
Well,
But you can't just leave the border and let them go do their job without somebody guarding the border, being there.
here's the thing that stops. If you put military members on that border, they will have military equipment. When one of these drug cartels roll up in a Jeep with a 50 caliber machine gun,
Guess what the military, yes.
they will have the weaponry to match these people, and if they don't the first time, they quickly will have it the next time.
Yeah.
And you know, there is such thing as air support too. My recommendation is A-10s. That is my recommendation.
Yep. Yep.
And let them hear it zzz,
Zip. Yep.
about 4 or 5 times, and it will send them running back into Mexico. I promise you, because they don't have the capability to cope with those airplanes, but that or jets. That's that's a whole entire other story.
So he also said,
not a bad idea.
he also said that day one, we're going to start drilling oil. We're going to start drilling again.
Told you.
Yep. Day one. He said day one, that's going to happen. That was in this speech. Maybe you can go back and find it. I hope you can.
Look,
And they're going to stay. You know, everybody's like, oh, no, we're not going to drill this. Yes, he is. And he already promised that during his campaigning, during his, run for presidency. He said that. And he said day one, we're going to start drilling.
they'll complete the Keystone Pipeline too.
Yes, they will.
Here's the thing: if you don't think that us drilling oil and being energy independent
Yeah.
does not have a geopolitical effect,
You would have liked it, Shirley.
the actual reason that Russia was able to invade the Ukraine was the fact that we no longer were able to sell natural gas and oil to Europe. Because guess where they got the money from to fund that? They got it from Europe because Russia supplies oil and natural gas. They have it. They were not supplying it at that point because they were getting it from us. You can say what you want to about solar power. You can say what you want to about wind power. You can say what you want to about electric cars. You can say anything you want to about any of that stuff. But the bottom line is oil and natural gas is what makes this world run. The other is incapable of doing that right now. That is reality. That's not fantasy.
Right.
If you could tell me how you are going to power those cars without gas or diesel, because in order to give yourself electricity, if you will look at the end of those charging stations, you will find diesel powered generators. You will find that the energy that they get on a regular basis when you plug it up into your home is either from coal or from nuclear power.
Power. Yep.
The power grid won't do what you want to have everybody in those cars. It's impossible with the way our power grid is right now. if you do what he was saying Donald Trump is going to do and make this country energy independent again, a lot of this stuff that's going on around in the world with people killing people will stop. Because the funding won't be there for them to do that.
Yep.
You start messing with Iran's oil source, you will break that country. He just about had them broke at the end of his first 4-year term. Their people were about to revolt. I don't want to see people die, but I also don't want to see a bunch of crazy mullahs yelling death to America and death to Israel blow up half the world when they get a nuclear weapon.
So, and the other thing, what Byron just mentioned, and we'll get ready to close the show here in just a few minutes. But the other thing I want, because he did say this as well, he brought up Russia and Ukraine and Israel. You know what he said to that? He says, I've already been talking to them, and he told everybody this, again, on national television, anybody else sitting in that convention. He says, I've been already talking to those leaders, and he says, I can assure you, within 60 days, both of those wars will be ended.
I can promise you this.
I was like, whoo, boy, you had my ears perked, and I was like, okay.
I can promise you this. That's not going to be a bad thing for Israel.
No.
Because what he's going to do is going to affect the way the terrorists are funded. If they don't have money, they cannot do what they do.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, there is a viral video going on Facebook right now that talks about how, because the border was open, there's around 2,000 or more Al-Qaeda terrorists in this country right now. Don't know how true that is. Guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Because that started going around right after a bunch of people got run over with a vehicle in New Orleans the other day.
Yep.
And nobody's saying anything about that. Why don't we know anything about that? I would very much like to know if that was an Al-Qaeda terrorist. I would very much like to know if I need to have eyes in the back of my head and start toting my piece everywhere with me.
Well, that explosion device that's unknown in this country, where'd it come from? You know?
Look, anywhere that you go nowadays, and we was talking about this at work today, and this was a topic that I wanted to talk with Byron about, but we can address this at another time. We were talking about, you don't never know, because there's so many people with so many variations of background and ethnicities. Did I say that right? Ethnicities? Yeah.
Ethnicities.
Yeah, there you go.
That word.
Like that word. Help me with that one. And backgrounds, and that's why we're the melting pot of the world. But you don't never know who you're letting in your military. You don't never know who you're letting in top government positions. You just never know. This particular, can I just call him an idiot? This particular idiot that killed 15 people and injured 25 more in New Orleans, you do know what he did for a living, right?
What did he do for a living, David?
He was in the U.S. Army. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding? This is why you just don't know who is secretly working for terrorist cells here, there, or what mafias. What you don't know, and that's the hard thing with this is because just don't know. It's hard to pinpoint. It's hard to pinpoint. Unless they're putting their activities out somewhere.
Okay, we have talked about diversity and inclusion and all of this stuff for so many years that people forget that this country is supposed to be a melting pot. And there is a difference between diversity and being a melting pot. A big difference.
Yeah.
It's not saying you can't have your roots. It's not saying that. But what it's saying is when you become an American, you become an American. Not an African American. Not a Mexican American. Not a Hispanic American.
Not a Panamanian American.
or Panamanian.
I'm going to throw that in for you. I had to throw that in.
The last time we did that, we got no bunch of trouble.
Boy, we sure did, didn't we?
Yeah,
Facebook didn't like that, did it? No, Facebook didn't like
But
that.
it was funny.
It was funny, and it still is funny.
It still is funny. But, you know, or not an Irish American, not a Scottish American, none of that. You become American.
Yeah.
With Scottish or Irish. Or Mexican, Hispanic roots. It's not that way anymore.
No.
We've got to add the country you came from to your nationality, and half the time that we're doing that happened 4 generations ago, and I'm sitting here going, you are no more African American than I am Scottish American. Or French American. Really, no, you're American.
I didn't come from Scotland. I came from America.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I have Scottish and Irish ancestry, and I also have English ancestry. I also have French ancestry. I also have Native American blood in me. But I'm an American. I was born in Gainesville, and then soon after I was born in Gainesville, I come to Stark, and have been here ever since. And the only reason that I wasn't born in Stark because they didn't have a midwife's house anymore, and the hospital here in Stark didn't do that at that time. I was born in Alachua General, so we came back here, and that's where I've been the majority of my life. Look, I was not born in Scotland. I wasn't born in Ireland. I wasn't born in France. Yet we have a bunch of people running around doing that. Do I know about my ancestry? Yes, I know about my ancestry. Am I proud of my ancestry? For the most part, yes, I am, except for some of the French decisions in World War II and World War I.
Right.
But look, come on. You're an American. You're an American. You're born here, and you weren't born somewhere. You are an American. It's time to start being American. Being Americans again. I mean, that's the country. There's no other country in the world that does that, except for us, because we can't hurt people's feelings.
I want to finish off the show with something, and I just hope I don't offend anybody, but I have to tell it because this was so hilarious, and I'll lead into that here in a minute. Julie Binion, one other person that besides Trump, and this man loved him, Miss Shirley Bagwell loved him, I loved him, Shelley Rogers, my wife, loved him, and that was Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan's best president that I've ever lived through.
Oh my God,
period.
Ronald Reagan.
And it's not that Donald Trump was a good president.
No, he is.
But
Oh my God.
Ronald Reagan was the complete package, and he did some really great things for this country. But he also did things in a different manner too than what Trump did. I honestly, I have no issues with Donald Trump.
I don't. Do you? I think he's done great for the country. When he was
shocked the world with this comment, and I've said this in the past, and I'll say it again. If I thought a Democrat nominee for the presidency would run this country the way they should, I would vote for them. Because it's not.
I'll second you with that.
It's not,
I would. Me too.
It's not about the party.
Nope.
It's about how the country is being run and not being run into the ground.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that. Now, I thought in the past there's been good, at least decent Democrat presidents? Yes, there's been some good Democrat presidents. JFK was one of them. But we haven't had one since JFK.
Lisa just said that she thought Ronald Reagan was the best president. In my lifetime, anyway.
He would used to make jokes out of the Democrats.
Yeah.
The Democrats would
laugh at it. Yeah, I'm like, what? Like, yeah.
He just had this personality that drew everybody in and could get everybody to cooperate, and he made this country better because of it. Donald Trump has a grating personality that our side of the field goes, oh my God, yes, while the other side of the field goes, he's horrible. I mean, when you become the president of the United States, you become the president not only of just your party, but you become the president of the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
And see, that's the problem with Donald Trump. it doesn't seem like he's the president of everybody. It seems like he's the president of the conservatives and the Republican Party. That's what the biggest issue with Donald Trump is. Now, that being said, I will tell every Democrat out there a little secret. This was you 50 years ago. Donald Trump was you 50 years ago.
Yep.
He is a typical New Yorker and a typical Democrat politician from 50 years ago.
Yeah.
If you don't believe it, go back and look and listen to some of them. It's funny how things swing. It is really funny how things swing. Donald Trump is not the most conservative person I've ever heard. He's just got common sense and won't let nonsense get in the way of his common sense, which I can deal with. I don't have an issue with that at all.
Nope.
Except when he starts getting on his soapbox and he offends everybody in the world. It's like, I want to beat my head up against the table. Please don't do that.
Yeah, that's a great point that you bring up, Scott. If the future was wind and solar, as you talked about, Exxon, BP, and all other oil companies would be investing heavily into it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There is a show about the oil industry on right now, and Billy Bob Thornton,
The landman.
is on that.
It's the landman. Right? Yeah, that's
And
it. Yeah.
he was talking to a bunny hugging woman. Excuse me for that term, but that's about as close as that's what that was about the windmills, and he breaks it down for her about how dependent on oil those windmills are. And how bad they are for the environment when they're no longer any good. It's hilarious. Oh, and by the way, I encourage everybody to go look and check out what a lithium mine looks like. You tell me if it's good for the environment.
So, yeah, and everybody, you're right. Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan, in my lifetime anyway, is two of the best presidents. And like he was saying, JFK, I was born in that era too. But
You're that old?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, don't tell me. Dave, how old were you? But anyway,
now he's gonna throw
I'm trying to direct that crap over that way. All right, it's 8:47. We need to start closing down the show. Again, let me and Byron reiterate before I tell this, because I just thought it was funny. And again, I hope this doesn't offend anybody, but I want to show you where we came from 30 years ago till now. I just want to say this. So anyway, well, look, we're going to continue doing exactly what we just did here. We're just going to diversify it a little bit. We're going to go into a sports realm. We're going to do a little bit of it all, except we're going to get into the sports just a little bit more. And it's not going to happen next week, or it's going to gradually go there, and that's what we're going to do. You're going to start probably seeing a lot more posting from me and Byron and Dave. Mitchell said he would help out too, so continue to check out On the Spot with David Rodgers' page and also his page for stories that concern either racing on his end or sports or some kind of politics or some kind of happenings on our end. You'll see the page starting, I guess, to what I want to say. Move, maybe?
Yeah.
Move. And, because there's stories there that sort of stay dormant, and we want to keep bringing you new stories. So we're going to continue to do that. So, on top of that, I want to say welcome back, everybody. Thank you all, guys, for listening in. And, again, I mean nothing by this. I'm just taking it from what I see. So, I'm going to start off by saying to everybody on here, Dave and Byron, have y'all ever watched the show in living color? Do you remember the show in living color?
Oh,
Dave?
please, no Gumby, please.
So, so there's the Wayans.
That's it.
There's Homie the Clown.
Homie the Clown's the one I'm thinking
There's
about.
Fire Marshal Bill, right? Fire Marshal Bill. Remember Jim Carrey did that. But all the Wayans, it was a funny show, and it was great because one thing I liked about the show is they picked on everybody. It didn't matter if it was black, white, skinny, fat, ugly. It was funny. It was comedy. Everybody laughed and left it alone.
Sure.
So here lately, because I've been doing some different things and looking at some different things on how we can all be better as people and helping with the show, I've been watching a lot of YouTube. Like you know, you go and see these different things. So I happened to come across an episode of In Living Color. And it was Homie the Clown.
Homie, don't play that.
Homie, don't play that. So the little, this is what I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna get to the point with this after I say it. So anyway, Homie the Clown was at the circus.
The Clown reference on David Rodgers.
So,
Yeah, okay.
So he was at the circus, and Jim Carrey was playing this farmer. He brought his wife to the circus. So Homie was doing predictions. That's what his job was at the circus.
Oh my God.
So Jim Carrey, acting as his farmer, he goes, "Hey, clown, do you think you can guess my wife's weight?" Homie says, "For $1. So Jim Carrey pulls out $1, gives it to Homie the Clown, and he goes, "Okay." Starts swirling around, and he goes, "Yep, she's one fat bitch." That is hilarious as hell, but the title of that is, you know what the title said with it? You can't say that kind of stuff anymore. That show came on in the 90s, and that joke was referenced along with many others that they did diversified to everybody. But that particular YouTube thing said, and it was funny to me, I let Shelly listen to it, let Autumn listen to it, I let some guys at work. We all laughed our asses off. But guess what? You can't do that no more. Because why, Byron? Why can't we say that anymore? Or why is it not good to say that anymore?
Well, because the political correct police will come grab you and put you in jail, and you'll be the most horrible person in the world,
right?
Because you said some things that made people laugh. Some people laugh. That some people get their feelings hurt about.
Yeah,
that's why. David, you want to talk about that? How about Archie Bunker and
oh
Jefferson?
My gosh, yes,
in the same room with each other. You want to talk about two of the biggest racists in the world, and they wrote this for a sitcom. It was nuts, but their interaction between those two guys was hilarious.
Byron, I was going to call you when I seen that stroll across last night. I was going to call you. And I was like, Shelly said, "What in the hell are you laughing about so hard?" I said, I remember seeing the episode. You know, you start when you see these clips, you start remembering the episodes. Because I used to watch that show religiously, Shelly. It was a really, really good show. I thought the Wayans did a great job, and they went on to do other and bigger and better things. Jamie Foxx got his start. Jim Carrey got his prominence from there. The Wayans and everything that they do got their prominence from there. But let me tell you. All said that, and they even started laughing, and it was just hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And then I had to read the caption. I had to read the caption because isn't that so true today, ladies and gentlemen? And Byron explained it really well. Isn't that the truth? The moral police or whatever, you can't say that no more because they're going to come and get you. And what'd you say? Oh, you're the baddest person in the world for saying that. You're horrible. You're a piece of whatever, and everything else.
They'll out you. They'll try to ruin your careers and all that stuff. All I got to say to you is, if you really want to be offended, especially those people that are of the not straight persuasion, go watch Eddie Murphy's comedy routines, the two that he did when he was younger, and you will be really, really offended.
Or go back and watch In Living Color when you remember when they did. What was their names? I can't think. I wish somebody would remind me.
But it's hilarious.
It's hilarious. Oh, Two Twist and all that. Man, I laughed my tail off. Man, come on. Yeah, jeez, man. I don't know, man.
It's
world's come to it.
Look, you know, it's
comedy, man. Leave it there.
Well, you know, and on top of it, David, honestly, on top of all of it, It takes all sort of people to make this world. If you feel that way, why in the world do you want to be, does somebody want to ruin you? So guess what? The rest of us have to pay for you to live for the rest of your life because you're going to end up not being able to find a job.
Yeah.
Go back home and grow a spine.
Yeah.
I have been called all sort of nicknames for white people in the past. Does that make me upset? No, not at all. Especially the cracker one, because nobody understands that.
I told you this, brother. I don't know if I told it on the show, and I told Dave. Back in school, I was called half-breed. Hey, what's up, half-breed? So what? I don't care. What? Thank you. I got a name? Hey, I got a name.
Half-breed?
I got a name. They call me half-breed. Oh, yeah. Half-breed. I'm like, well, wait a minute now. But, yeah. I thought that was Indian, but anyway. I know you weren't going to say that.
I've been sitting there going, no, that's Chico.
Yeah. Well, hey, and my father-in-law called me that. That's Shelley. He called me Chico all the time. Hey, Chico and the Man. That's what he would refer to. Did you watch that show? Chico and the Man. My God, what a great
right
show.
over the top of everybody's head. And I said, Chico.
Yeah.
But, you know, look.
Who cares? I did not want to take the rifle out of my truck or out of my buddy's truck and go shoot up half the school because they call me half-breed. Who cares? It's a name. I'm with Byron. I'm sick and tired of the narratives of all this bull crap. Everybody gets their feelings. I'm not half-breed, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. Come on, man. As Byron said, grow a set, man.
Well, it's not just that, David. I'm sick and tired of the excuses people make for other people because they're not happy.
Yeah.
If you're a happy person, although that doesn't make a crap to you,
No.
you're not going to let them bother your feelings. If it's something wrong with you, if you can't, the sticks and stones thing, maybe that's a Generation X thing. But I could care less what people call me. I don't care. Now, there are some things I do care about. You call me a racist and we're going to have an issue because I understand what that word means.
There is, okay, and I agree with, there is one other word, and unfortunately for me, I've used it at times, and that is a retard. If you call a retard, like somebody that's got, like we were talking about the ARC, about what we're doing for them, if you go and say, hey, you're retarded to them, I'll take offense to that. Because those are special needs people, and they don't need to be called that, Byron. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's derogatory to them.
Here's the problem. We've made it derogatory, David. Do you know what the root of that word is?
Yeah.
It's Italian.
Yeah.
It means slow.
Slow. Yes.
But we've made it derogatory. It's not a derogatory term at all. It just
Scott
means
Munning said it
slow.
exactly right, B. Too many react with emotion instead of logic.
Well, I mean, you can. There are certain things you need to react to with emotion, but most of the stuff we don't react to it with logic anymore at all. You know, look, we have a problem in this country. We try to placate everybody. Almost everybody's placated, and at some point, it's going to switch. For a long time, it was Christians. Now it's everybody else. And quite frankly, there are a lot of people who don't like Christians anymore. And I'm like, are you kidding me? They're the greatest group of people in this country. They're the majority of the people in this country as far as religion goes. They spend their time going to places that are less fortunate and feeding people. They help their communities. What is wrong with that? Other than the fact that, they don't need to try to make me believe like they do. That's what we're supposed to do as Christians, is make you believe like we do. That's told to us in the Bible. We're supposed to try to make people believe that way. But we're not supposed to all of a sudden do it because it hurts your feelings. Don't listen.
Yeah.
Walk away. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about leaving the country, but I'm saying just walk away and go somewhere else. Go to the Jiffy store. Go to wherever you are. Do whatever you want to do.
There was a certain time going through school that you didn't want anybody to know what your mom's name was, because they always call you by your mom's name.
You know, look,
My mom's name was Marie, so I was like, "Hey, Marie!"
You know, kids did. I mean,
I didn't take offense to that.
No, why would you?
Picked on unmercifully when I was in elementary school, middle school, and part of high school because I was not a big person. And I got picked on. I got picked on by some of my best friends. And I can still call them my best friends, even though they did what they did to me. You know why? Because they weren't. That was kids being kids. Kids can't even be kids anymore.
No, that's the thing right there.
They can't be kids anymore.
No.
Boys can't be boys for sure.
No, definitely not.
So I look. We need to learn how to desensitize ourselves a little bit from all of that nonsense, because I am telling you, we are in for a world of hurt if we don't stop going down the road of political correctness in this country, because nobody's going to be able to say anything at all that anybody could take as the least amount offensive. I mean, we did that on the show one time, and oh my God.
Matter of fact, we referenced to it tonight. Yeah.
I went through a list of about 20 different Spanish nationalities and said I did not like one of them, and they had a fit.
That's right, Shirley.
They had a fit, and I'm sitting here going, are you kidding me? They're all Castilian, and that's one of the ones that I used.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you really want to get technical about it, anybody with dark skin is really not Hispanic anyway. They're mixed, Moorish, and Castilian. If you really want to get down to the bottom line of it, that is the truth. And I can give you the history of it if you would like, about the Moorish invasion of Europe.
And actually, I can cut it even deeper with me. You know, you talk about Central and South America, that's Latin. It's Latin American. Really, I'm Latin American. If you really want to get into a technical terminology
I thought
of it,
you were
that's
David.
Well, I am David. But I mean, I am David. I am David. But you know what? You know, some people. Oh goodness. This has been a great show, man.
It just kills me because
it kills me too.
I don't care what color his skin is. I don't care. He treats me right, and I treat him right.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that matters.
You know, it's funny because when I was in the service, I grew up in the South all my life. Just real quick before we close the show down. Grew up in the South all my life. So was Byron. You grew up Ohio area, but it doesn't. It really. But to me, when I opened my mouth, when I would go overseas, people would assume again that I spoke Spanish. Well, I didn't know that much Spanish because I was so Americanized when my mom and my dad brought me here that I got Americanized and I really forgot my Spanish. Now my mom and dad would talk it, but I wouldn't hear it all the time, and I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Because I was worried about being with my American friends. So I became a Southern boy. Let's call it what it is. I became a Southern boy and had that Southern twang. Southern accent. So I will go over to like Germany or Sicily or whatever, and they would look
y'all.
at me. Yeah, I'd say, hey, can you get me a beer? What? Oh, man. That's just the way, you know what I'm saying? Like Byron was saying, they just assume that you're this or you're that, and then like at the end of the day, I'm David, he's Byron, you're Dave, she's Shirley, she's Lisa, she's Charlotte, whoever.
At the end of the day, that's really what it is.
That's what it is.
It doesn't matter what your skin color is. You're an American, and
It's what's
that's
in the
your
heart.
name.
That's right.
Okay, now You think that's funny. You think that experience that you had yours funny. I want you to think about the way I sound right now.
Oh, when you was in Dominica in Republic?
No. When I was in high school,
Yeah.
one of the options for the languages to graduate was French.
Oh boy.
And I took it. And I could speak it. And I could speak it well. But it never sounded right. It sounded like French coming out of Southern boy's mouth. It was... My teacher used to crack up. She used to crack up. She said, that is really, really good, but it does not sound like French because you have a Southern accent and you can't get rid of it. I said, I can't help it. That's where I'm from Florida. I can't help it.
Now, I would have loved, you know who's got a real Southern drawl? That's Lisa.
Yes, she does.
I would have loved to see when y'all was over like in San Juan or in Dominican Republic or whatever, when she said, I would like a drink. Was y'all able to get off the ship? Did y'all go? Okay. Did you speak to them?
Yeah. We went.
Did they say anything? Did they look at her or anything? Did they say nothing?
Not really. They're used to us crackers.
Yeah, they are. That's the thing about that.
Pardon me, that's not an offensive term, by the way. It's a term for cowboys from Florida.
That's right. Yep.
So, but
anyway,
I digress.
Hey, why don't you close the show tonight, man? I'm a little tired. I'm a little hungry. I'm ready to eat.
What you gonna go eat?
Let's see. Shelly made some kind of little special dish or something. Said something that she's, one of those recipes she's seen. We tried that. Yeah. So I don't know what it is. Something to do with some hamburger meat and cheese or something. Anyway.
Sounds good.
Sounds really good. Yeah. What are you having? I know that Lisa's got something going.
Anything I can eat when I get. It doesn't matter. It's always good. Love each other. I want to tell everybody to love each other because that's what it's the answer. Honestly, look, now use your judgment. If somebody's doing wrong, you don't love what they're doing. You love them,
right? And
you help them correct that mistake. If they don't want to correct those actions, then you need to make a decision about what you're doing. At the same time, it's a new year. I want everybody to have a happy, healthy new year. I want everybody to be as prosperous as you can possibly be. We don't talk about that much.
No, we don't.
We really don't. This country is a capitalist country. It is founded on making money. It is the only country in this world that was founded on making money. The term making money actually came from this country. So, prosperous, happy, healthy new year to you and to your family from all of us at On the Spot with David Rodgers, Dave, David, me, and Mitchell. And we love y'all. And we
see you next Tuesday, huh?
I hope to see you again next Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I will be here on time next week, and you'll get to see my smiling face.
Absolutely, I know you will. Hey, and if you're not, and you're not too late, you still come anyway.
I'm still coming.
He's still coming anyway. That's what he did tonight.
Well, look, David. This has been a bizarre past 3 or 4 months.
Yes, it has.
Because when we did have the show, I couldn't make it. When we didn't have the show, because other people had stuff, I could have made it. So it just never crossed paths, right? And it was just crazy. Hopefully this year that's another resolution.
Well, I want to say one more thing for me and Byron and Dave. I know every once in a while it happens to you, but to everybody as well. There was times when, as far as the show, one of us wasn't feeling well. Somebody had a sinus infection, or somebody flu, or a sinus infection. You wasn't, you got poked, and I would like for us to, hopefully that those kind of things don't come upon us as often as they done, because there were several times, I can tell you at least 3 or 4 times, that my sinuses or flu or something, I didn't feel good to do the show. Byron can sit here and tell you the same thing. And I hope that doesn't occur, because when me and you and him are together, and again, Mitchell's got his own thing, but when he's with us, it's the same thing. There's a continuity. Your mother said it. There's a what do you call it? There's a
It's
chemistry.
It's chemistry
There's
between people that understand things.
Yeah.
And like to talk about things, and we bounce off each other, and,
Yeah.
and it works.
Yep. Do we agree with each other all the time? No. But that's what makes it. That's what makes it, because I can understand where he's coming from, and he can understand where I'm coming from. I can understand where you're coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Real quick before we go, we got 2 college playoff games going. All right. Give me your pick: Ohio State or Texas.
Ohio State.
Okay,
I have no opinion on this because I really don't like either one.
I
of those
agree.
teams.
I agree.
One of those teams, because they're now in the SEC. I thought Texas was okay before that, but they're in the SEC now, which I really despise.
Yep.
And Ohio State, is Ohio
All right.
State.
Who do you think's going to game?
If you ask me with my heart, I want to say Texas will. If you ask me with my head, Ohio State will.
I think Ohio State's going to win the game.
Ohio
too.
State's probably going to win that football game.
All right. The other one is the one that really intrigues me, and that's Notre Dame and Penn State.
Penn State.
You like Penn State?
These
are too hard. I know.
David and I talked about this.
Yes,
and
we
to
did.
begin with, I told him while I was on the trip, I messaged him this.
Yeah.
I told him I hope Penn State ran the whole entire thing so I wouldn't have to hear any more of this nonsense about the SEC.
Right.
And the SEC commissioner going on national TV and whining about what was going on.
Yeah.
Go away. You can't fix it anymore like you have for years. Anyway, I really don't think Penn State's going to win that football game. I think Notre Dame's going to win that football game. And honestly, I think Notre Dame is probably going to win the national title this year. They showed me enough with this to say just how good that football team is. Now, can any team have a down game and lose? Yeah, they can. But that is a really good football team. And they shocked me. I thought they were going to lose.
To me, that's going to be the better game of the two. Just me personally, just because of the way they both play defensively and offensively. And Notre Dame has got a great defense. Penn State all of a sudden here has been playing lights out defense. And their tight end to me is the difference maker out of anybody on the field. But I still think Notre Dame gets it done. I like Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame, Ohio State in the national championship. You like Penn State and Ohio State. So I'm going to let you pick. Ohio State and Penn State, if they make it, who wins the national championship?
Oh, Ohio State.
Ohio State, all right. You had Notre Dame, Ohio State.
Notre Dame, Ohio State, Notre Dame wins. And both of those games are really close. Like
Yeah.
3 to 4 points
Yeah.
in both games. Not just both playoff games.
Yeah.
And then the national championship's probably going to be that close too.
If Ohio State played like they did the last 2 ball games and they keep on this roll, which I don't know if they can or not, they have a great shot of winning it. But there's something about Notre Dame too. I'm with Byron. That's just something about them. I like Notre Dame too to win the whole thing.
Well, don't sleep on Texas.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Yeah.
Those 2 quarterbacks Texas have are unbelievably talented.
Yes, they are.
Ewers and a certain Manning.
Yes.
That bloodline is really, really good. And if you listen to Peyton and you listen to his younger brother, who both won Super Bowls,
Yep.
they will tell you the best quarterback in the family was not neither one of them.
Nope.
It was the guy that's at Texas now.
Now.
So don't sleep on Texas. Texas defense is going to have to play though.
Yes,
they're
they
going
are.
to have to show up. They didn't show. They really, to tell you the honest truth, should have lost that game to ASU. They really should have. That ASU football team was really good too.
And let me tell you, Scatterboo,
Ooh,
he is a dog.
that dude is a real.
He won the MVP on a losing team. When do you hear that happening? That very seldom happens. He won the MVP of that bowl game on a losing squad.
The real deal.
The real deal. He is. Yeah, I like him. All right, B, tell everybody good night, my man.
All right, from everybody on the spot with David Rodgers, I hope you have a good evening, and we will see you next week.
And we're going to eat.